All right, welcome back everybody to another Java video. And I wanted to make this video to go over some different math operators and math functions. I know it's still be a little bit tricky getting used to these. All right, so if you look below, highlight them here. These are the math operators. So highlighting them work. But these are the math operators that we'll be using for the most part. And these are pretty simple basic ones: plus, minus. For multiplication, we use an asterisk, which you can get by clicking shift and the number 8 on your keyboard. We use a forward slash for division. And this one here, this percent sign, we call it modulo, but what it does is that it actually gives you the remainder of a division, which I'll show you in a bit. Okay, so we'll go through an example. We'll also take a look at some of these. Important to note, even though there's still BEDMAS, some of the Java math doesn't work exactly how regular math would work. All right, and a lot depends on data types. All right, so we'll take it from the beginning and we'll get started. So once again, just another review as well. To create a new project on Eclipse, we'll hit File, New, Java Project, and I'll call this one Math Example. So remember, this is just a Java project folder, so it's fine if it's 2 words. All right, hit Finish. If you're doing this on your own Eclipse from home and it asks you about the module, say don't create. Okay, so from there, then we're going to find on our Project Explorer, we'll find the Math Example folder. Right click SRC, New Class. From here, call it Math Example. And remember, this one is a class now, so it has to be one word, no spaces. So Math Example, one word. Just to double check, so source folder, we have it in the Math Example and /src. Very good. We're using a default package. And remember to click off public static void main. Hit Finish, and it's done. It's created. All right, so we're going to be doing a few things here. I'll write them out in the comments. Remember, the comments you can use double backslashes. So we're going to create 3 variables. And oops. And we're going to ask the user to enter the values for each. And of these 3 variables, 2 will be ints, 1 will be double. All right, so let's start. So another quick review. When we want the user to import or input their own information, we need to import a scanner. Right, so for any upcoming tests or quizzes, it'll be important to remember this code. So this is import java.util.scanner. Done, finished. Okay, that's imported, and we need to create the scanner so that we can use it. So scanner input equals new scanner system.in. Yes, so here's the thing too. A lot of this it might look like memorizing, but it's actually just a lot of practice, right? And that's why it's important to go through all of those practice exercises, right? And really test this out, right? Don't study it by memorizing, study it by practicing. All right, scanners created. Let's create 3 variables. So 2 of them are ints. Int num1, int num2, and the last one is a double num3. Okay, and just remember too, so ints are used for whole numbers. And double are used for decimal numbers. Okay, so important to note that. All right, next thing we're gonna do, we need to ask the user to enter the values for each. So this is system.out println quotations and say, please enter a whole number. All right, so here's another review, right? If we run it, program asks, please enter a whole number. Now we need to save this number to our num1. So remember, the way we do this is num1 equals, now we need to take the name of our scanner, which was input.next, and you see the different options that pop up here, input.nextInt. Remember, we read this from right to left, and this saves what the user typed in into num1. Great. All right, so let's repeat this process for num2. So I'm going to copy, paste, please enter a whole number. And instead of num1, this is going to be num2 equals input.nextInt. Great. Okay, so those 2 numbers are taken care of. Now let's do this for num3. And num3 is a double. So we're going to say, please enter a decimal number. So this changes to num3. And for the part to the right of the equal sign, instead of input.nextInt, change that to input.nextDouble. There we have it, input.nextDouble. All right, so let's try this out. 2, 3, and 3.0. There we go. So that part is set up. Now we're going to actually do some math with these numbers. Okay, so try to keep this part as simple as possible right now. Let's go back. So we'll go through all of these different math operators all the way down to modulo. Okay, here we go. So create a new output statement. And we'll start outputting some of the answers to these math questions. If you wanted to, you could create entirely new variables and save these in, but right now we'll keep it simple. All right, so addition. Let's do num1 plus num2. And also notice, see how with text, we put quotations around the text. Notice how there's no quotations here. Now, when we run it, let's say 3, 2, 2.0. And there we go. We have the answer as 5. Okay, I'm just going to add this part in. Answer is. Okay, and notice too, when we're adding text like this, you need to put a plus sign as well. Right, so plus sign between the text string and then the variables. I'll show you something else. So what happens if we were to add variables here? Let's see. Sorry, if we added quotations, then that's literally just string, and you'll see what happens. 3, 2, 2.0. So see, it doesn't actually add the variables. It just gives you the literal text num1 plus num2. Great. Okay. Next few I'll go through a little bit faster. So let's do subtraction. And now we just change this plus sign between num1 and num2 to a minus sign. Let's see, it doesn't like undefined first type string. Let's see what happened here. Oh, might not like. You can see even with these here, I'll just keep it simple like this for now. I see what happened. Let's try. You can see me experimenting with this too during the video as well. Let's try this, put them into brackets. There we go. So we needed a little bit of BEDMAS there. Okay, so there's the subtraction. Yeah, all we did is put brackets around num1 minus num2. Okay, let's do this for multiplication. Change this to a star. See if it needs brackets around. Nope, it's good. And then division, and we'll stop there for a second. Okay, this is a slash. Okay, so let's run the results and see what the answers are. So num1 is 3, num2 I'll set to 2, and the decimal number I'll set that to 2.0. Okay, and let's see. Okay. Let's change that, put that a bracket around those. That must be an update with the new Java as well. Let's put a bracket around each of the math parts. Okay, 3, 2, 2.0. There we go. So yeah, to be safe, put a bracket around these variables when you're doing the math. It's math operators with them. And there we have it. So 3 plus 2 is 5. 3 minus 2 is 1. 3 times 2 is 6. And notice here, so this is the first interesting thing. Notice with this division, right, we have 3 divided by 2. The answer should be 1.5, but we actually only get the answer as 1. And the reason that happens is because these are both whole numbers. All right, so if we went back to our PDF, which can be found on Edsby, and we're looking at integer division, because both numbers, so same thing here, 7 divided by 5 should be about 1.5 or so. But because they're both integers, the answer itself comes out as an integer, as a whole number. So here is another one. 30 divided by 4 comes out as 7, even though it should be 7.5, because 30 and 4 are both integers. So what happens, the decimal just gets dropped off. It's not rounded up. If you look here, though, so if we did 32.4 divided by 2, then the answer comes out as a decimal number. So as long as one of these numbers is a decimal number, right, then the answer will come out as a decimal number. And this one, if both are decimal numbers, then answer will be a decimal. So let's take a look again at our example on Eclipse. So I'm going to do a second division one. And we're going to compare the difference. Okay, so this one, second division, but instead of dividing num1 by num2, we're going to divide it by num3. And as we know up here, we set num3 to a double, which means it's going to be a decimal number. So let's show that num3 is a decimal number. Okay, so let's do 3 to 2.0. And there you have it. So this last one, because num3 was a decimal number, then the answer came out as a decimal number. Okay, so that's a very important note, and that's something that could be asked on a quiz. All right, let's do the last. So plus plus, these ones just mean adding one. Minus minus means minusing one. These are shortcuts. What I want to focus in is this modulo, this percent sign. And like we mentioned, this modulo is remainder division. All right. So let's do that. Modulo. So I'll write that in the comments. But really what this is remainder division. All right. And let's go back to whole numbers for this one. Okay, so modulo is a percent sign. And what this does is that it doesn't find how many times num2 goes into num1. It finds whatever the remainder is. So if we play it again, 2.0, there we have it. So the reason the answer is 1 is because when you divide 3 divided by 2, you get a remainder of 1, which shows up here on this remainder division. All right, so those are the basic math operators. Lastly, what I'm going to show you guys is some of these math functions. All right, so if we scroll down, we have many different math functions or methods. What I'll focus on right now are the math.pow, which are used for exponents, and math.sqrt, which is used to find the square root of something. All right, here we have it. So let's start with the simpler one, math.sqrt. So this is for square roots. System.out print. Okay, and for this one, the way that this works, so it's still the same output message. But now we put this function, which is going to be math.sqrt. And we will put a number in here. Let's use num1. And there you have it. There's the square root of num1. Num1 was 3, so the square root of 3 is 1.73205 all the way onwards. All right, so really that's just how you use that simple method. Next one is exponents. This one's a little trickier. All right, so with exponents, so I'll highlight this part. This is math.pow. We have x comma y. So whatever number is in that x position is the base. See, we see that example. And whatever is in the y position is the actual exponent. Okay, so when we set this up, I'll set up the statement first. Math.pow. And let's do num1 as our base, num2 as the exponents. And I'll write that out again as a comment. So this is really saying num1 to the exponent of num2. In our case, when we set these numbers, this is going to be 3 to the exponent 2. Okay, 3 to 2.0. All right, and there we have it. So answer is 9. Did I set that? Yeah, there we go. Need to double check why that one became a double, but we do know that the exponent is 3 of 3 to exponent 2. The answer of that is 9. All right, so what I would say in class, this is a longer video, so make sure you're copying this into your own Eclipse, preferably your own Eclipse now installed on your laptop. And like we said, it's not so much about memorizing the different codes, but it's more about understanding and then doing lots of practice. All right, I know we repeat this a lot, but the practice is what's going to get you fully understand this. Then when it comes time to write an assignment or a quiz, then you'll find it much more easier. And be able to use your logic to feel your way through these questions. All right, so that's it. Let me know if you need any help in class, and I'll see you guys later.